Okay. Hey, everyone. It's WolfMan Dale Wolfley here. Yes, Mountaineer Legends pregame. We had to cut a little bit short, a little bit of technical difficulties there. Down at the beach, the boys, Major, Aaron Beasley, Brian Joswiak, Mike Collins, and, of course, the runaway beer truck, Owen Schmitt, having a great time down there with the alumni chapter down there at Myrtle Beach. And we're just going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and run the Wolfman's Call breakdown for the Kansas Jayhawks for you now and get going. Listen, this is what it comes down to. Mountaineers. I don't care about the Kansas Jayhawks. I don't care. They're dangerous, all that stuff. It's about what you do. You are in the driver's seat. Offensively, defensively, and special teams. This is where you got to stand up. You lost last week. You're tired of losing. And it's time to win. It's time to win. It's time to move this program forward. Mountaineer Nation is all waiting for it. I don't want to hear negative. All I want is positive and just roll forward. This Kansas team can hurt you if you keep them in the game. If you keep letting them hang around, you're going to start to believe they can hang around. What you have to do is you got to squash them and squash them right away. Foot on their throats. Don't let them up. Make them want to fly home to Kansas as soon as they can. Fly home to Lawrence as fast as they can because they know that they just got a real whooping from the Mountaineers. That's what I want to see. Here comes the Wolfman's Call, the Kansas Jayhawk, the fictitious bird, the breakdown. Here we go.
Wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, roll like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hello, Mountaineers. I'm the Wolfman, Dale Wolfley, and this is the Wolfman's Call for the Kansas Jayhawk Breakdown, sponsored by Parmar Stores. Where there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. The Kansas Jayhawks. Do you know that a Jayhawk is a fictitious bird? Yes, fictitious bird. A mascot. What? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying because I've been doing that for 10 years and I'm still blown away that it's a fictitious bird. Regardless, let's get into the breakdown because it may be the same fictitious bird. This Jayhawk football team is not the same Jayhawk football team of the past. Like the movie, they said, The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, you're not in Kansas anymore. Wow. Well, that's the truth. And this Jayhawk team that's coming to Morgantown, is certainly a team that is on the rise, the level up. Not kidding. Not trying to blow smoke, not trying to say, hey, this team can be dangerous. This team is dangerous. when you look at a Lance Leipold team. Now, he took the Buffalo Bulls in the MAC, which I'm from Buffalo, Orchard Park. I know about the Buffalo Bulls. And they weren't very good for like 30 years. And the last 6, Lance had brought them up to be really competitive and MAC champions and actually play Neil Brown in a bowl game. And before that, he was at Whitewater, Wisconsin, winning 6 national championships. That's a guy that knows football. Kind of reminds me of me. Just kidding. But he's a guy that knows football. And that means when he goes to a team, he changes their outlook. It doesn't matter if the Jayhawks have been lousy for X amount of years. When he walks through that door on that campus, and he talks to that football team, and he talks to the people surrounding the program, and he talks to the fans, he's not talking like an old Jayhawk. He's instilling confidence. He's instilling strength. He's instilling a belief into him, his coaching staff, his program, and his will. His will to change. All you need in a leader is for people to follow. And that's a big thing. Not all you need, really. But when you do that and you follow a leader who's got a proven track record, it's not so hard to believe that this Jayhawk, this fictitious bird, can actually be successful. And I believe that the Jayhawks are going to be successful if Leipold stays there. Let's take a look at what's going on. The Kansas Jayhawks won last week, 56-10. Now, you know all about last year. The Mountaineers had to fight like crazy just to get bowl eligible to beat them. Great performance by Tony Mathis to help the Mountaineers get there last year. Their quarterback, Jalen Daniels, 6 foot, 215 pounds, 2 varsity letters. He's a junior. He's ready. He's ready. He's ready to lead this offense. He's ready to either run the ball or pass the ball to make it work. He's ready to do quite a bit of things to sacrifice himself for this team, especially on offense, to be successful. On defense, it's got a lot of the same thing. There's a lot of new blood in there. This transfer portal. Well, you know what it's doing right now? It's allowing a team like Kansas to also be able to compete and getting some players from maybe G5 to move on up. They got a couple some really good ones, actually. Some guys that really can play and can be difference makers on this football field, especially in a collaboration as a unit, offensively, defensively, and special teams. And we're going to break it down. But first, I want to go back to the Mountaineers. Let's talk about that Pitt loss for a minute, because I know it's behind everybody. Well, it's not behind me, because that Pitt loss this past week has got to be worked in a certain way. The coaches and the players have to go ahead and let that not become a reason to lose 2 games in a row. Because again, if you're down, if you're not up, this Kansas Jayhawk team can be dangerous. So looking back at the Pittsburgh game, what has to happen from that game and the transfers over to this game? How do they do that, and how do they make it improve? Well, I'm going to tell you this, and it's going to be very simple. It's going to be a matter of toughness. Say, well, yeah, they're all tough. They're football players tough. Now, I'm talking about going back to a little old school tough. You think last week was a little bit old school tough? I do. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, you young brothers, that wasn't old school tough. I say it was. I say it was a battle. And you came up a little bit short. A little short. Game of inches. We all know it. We've all heard it. It's a game of inches. A play here, a play there. Don't tell me about a punt here or a first down. There's so many other plays in that game that could have made more of a difference than that. And if you want to say a tough call, I'll be straight up with you. I'll be honest, because this is the Wolfman's call. If they go ahead and punt the ball and the Mountaineers stop them like they're supposed to do, okay, inside their own 10, then no one's going to say a word. Mountaineers win the game because they don't score. If they go ahead and go for the first down and they get it and the Mountaineers win, nobody says a word. Great calls. Either way, not a problem, not a conflict. But if it fails the one way or fails the other, that's an issue. I'm going to say there's no right call for that because things happen. It's football. You never know. You never, ever know. You can't say that's the wrong call in that position because the defense is supposed to stop them. And then they're supposed to punt the ball and have pretty good field position because that's the way you're supposed to work it. Defense, special teams gets them down there. Defense stops them, punts the ball. Offense has good field position to go score. That's the theory. Offensively, inches to go. You want to punch that ball. You want to make a statement to your offensive line. You want to say, listen, man, this is what it's about for you guys. This is what it's about. Get that first down. Yeah. That's what's supposed to happen. Sometimes in a football game, that's not what happens. Now, so what's my call? My call, I would have gone for it. I would have gone for it because that's my thinking. It doesn't mean that's the right choice. And I've been waiting to talk about that for a little bit. I probably should have talked about it in the pit review. Yeah, I guess I probably should have done it, but I'm doing it now. So let's move on from here. But again, let's talk about that heavyweight fight. So he just came off a heavyweight fight. You have to lick your wounds a little bit because it hurt. And what do you do when you come off of a heavyweight fight? You got to get back up. And he came off on a losing end. You got to get back up, and you got to stay together. You have to hang together. You can't sit there and listen to like, you should have gone for that first down, Coach Neil Brown. We should have gone for it. If I'm sitting there and say, oh, you know, should have stopped that pit offense, their defense. Should have stopped. No, you can't be doing that crap. It is what it is. You're a team. You're a team. You cannot be doing that. And that's what's important for this team to stay together. And from all sides, with all my ranting and raving going on, all sides, that's what appears from the outside. And you know what? From the inside as well. These are good young men. These are good young brothers. They will bounce back. Gold Rush, kind of a night game. First Big 12 game of the season. This team's got a lot to prove. And let's not forget about JT Daniels on offense. Dante Stills on defense. These are leaders. How about Oliver Straw there making those punts? How about those couple punt returns? Offense, defense, special teams. Neil's always started out with special teams. For 3 years, I sat next to him. Radio show, interview, 1891 Club. For 3 years, he always started out with special teams. I think this is his first special teams group that he really wants all together. Doesn't mean he hasn't had a good special teams player here or there, but as a group. And I think they can make a difference. They already have a punt block. Downing the ball inside the 10. Return yards. Big return yards. Doing all the things that are necessary. Oliver Straw, 3 times punting the ball inside pitch 20. All that is about field position. Special teams set up direct 7 points in the punt block. It's special teams, man. And Neil Brown knows it, and I think he's got what he wants, or he's really darn close. Offensively, JT Daniels. Man, this cat is going to call it like he sees it. I believe in him. If he performs poorly himself, I believe he will call it himself. I really do. I believe he's smart. All they've said this whole time is how intelligent JT Daniels is. Obviously, a lot more intelligent than I am. But that's good because I'm not out in that field. My time is way past. But JT Daniels, that's what I'm talking about for leadership. Yeah, man. I'm not even talking about his post-game press conference. I'm talking about on Tuesday. It just continues to enlighten me. I made a joke, I think, on Twitter because Ron Crook, remember Ron Crook, the offensive line coach, when Dana was here? And that's my guy, man. That is my guy. I love Crookie. Just love him, just as a person. And he used to joke, probably still does, Don Cincy, right? He jokes that when he had a position meeting in Harvard, when he was coaching at Harvard, he was the least smartest guy in his meeting room. Let that sink in. Think about it. Okay, Harvard, and these guys are all smart. I'll tell you what, I'm like, what's the big deal? I do it all the time. But when you look at that with JT Daniels and, of course, Graham Harrell, I think Graham's a pretty smart guy, so I don't think he's got to worry too much. Although JT Daniels is really smart. He's calling his own shots. He's calling his protection. He said it. But he stands by his guys. You know, a drop pass. He says, hey, it can happen. It's execution. We'll fix that easily. That's confidence. That's confidence, man. And that's good stuff. And let's move it on because we got to get on to the Jayhawks. But defensively, Dante Stills called him out. I think he's going to be the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to live by it. And if he's not, I'm going to call that out too, because this is the Wolfman's call. Whether it's a breakdown, whether it's a report, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to call it like I see it, because I'm getting too old not to. Too old not to. Not going to be told this is what you can say or what you can't say. I want a national championship for my Mountaineers. I know it's a tall order because I failed. I was part of a team that lost that national championship. But I'm saying for all Mountaineer Nation, for all the fans, for all my brothers, older, my time, or younger, I want a national championship. And so we're going to demand it. And that is why I am doing this Wolfman's call. So without further ado, special teams, offense, defense, leadership, this Mountaineer team better be ready, because this Kansas team is not soft. They will play, and they will give you problems if you let them. Let's get into the Jayhawks, offensively speaking. First, this message from Parmar.
Hi, my name is Wyatt Milam, and I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home in Canova, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that golden boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
And if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
All he does is catch the football. That is beautiful. That's why I came to West Virginia, man.
Ding dong, the witch is dead in Arizona.
It's a totally energized Heinz Field, the power of the Renegade song.
The backyard brawl, man, against Pitt. Look at that. Oh, there's Ron Wolfley.
Wow! They came after Donovan McNabb, went after him, they played to win the game.
Everybody's going bonkers, even the referees.
Oh, those look like some sticky gloves right there. We talk about 50-50. Right now it's 50-50. Who's going to get it?
Game came with cover 0. Man across the board.
Pick up a flag because, hey, and then with the Renegade song, even flags don't count.
He's going to get an Italian army behind him right there, just like Franco Harris.
My goodness, that is pure guts.
Give me a pepperoni roll, man.
Oh, yeah. You got to like that. Bar. And then, of course, the three wolves of football. The Wolf Pack. Hell, my brother Craig. Derry. Brother Ronnie. Pony Boy. And, of course, they call me Soda Pop. Usually soda. We're from Buffalo. That's the way we lived. It's the way we ran. The three wolves of football. Coming out next week. The first episode. Faith, family, football, and you better believe food. Yeah, I'm just saying it right now, man. But let's move on here. Moving on to the Kansas Jayhawks. Offensively speaking, the Jayhawks had about 297 yards of rushing, 189 passing. They're going to be a running team. They have 3 running backs that they really like, and they're tough. Tennessee Tech, guys, I don't know. Guys, women, all of us people, I don't know. I'm going to say this, that when you go against a bad team and you do what you're supposed to do, if you do those things right, then that usually means that you're a good team. If you see early this season, have you ever noticed when teams have struggled against lesser opponents, it's usually not the best of seasons. You know, a little average, maybe a little bit above average, depends on what happens during the season. But when you go out there and you smash who you're supposed to smash, and you crash and who you're supposed to crash, and you take down that team, then you probably are a team that is together, that has talent, and that what really wants to win. I think it's so important. So offensively speaking, let's look at this. They have, their offense of 297 yards rushing. It all started. Devin Neal, the running back, 108 yards and 4 carries. You look at, then they had Sevian Morrison, who had 8 rushes for 70 yards. Daniel Heishaw. I got to tell you, this cat, this running back, he's small, compact, powerful, kind of a normal Big 12 running back you see from the Midwest. But he just wants to hit people. Heishaw! He gets it. But those 3 guys, they want to run behind this the senior, junior, and a couple of sophomores on offensive line. They're not bad. I'll tell you, they're big. They're 6'5", they're 6'6", 325, 330 pounds. I mean, this defensive line that the Mountaineers have is highly rated defensive line, rightly so. They're going to have their hands full of the box because this is going to be a punch them in the box, hand the ball off. Jalen Daniels is then going to do the triple option where he's going to carry the ball, and then he's going to keep doing it, hand the ball off, run the ball, hand the ball off twice more, run the ball once more, and boom! He's going to fake that handoff to the running back, and he's going to go downtown. And you've got some receivers that can catch, and they're big receivers. I'm going to show that. I'm going to show you all this on my film I've broken down for you, and it's only going to be about 6 minutes worth, but they're really good. And what do you think about him? There's a 6'5" guy. His name is Quentin Skinner, and he's just really athletic. He definitely concerns me for the deep ball because Jalen Daniels can throw the deep ball. He threw 189 yards, 1 touchdown. He did have a pick, but he was 15 out of 18. And I know that all these doggone stats, right?
all these stats. What do they really matter? We don't know about Tennessee Tech. We really don't know. But at third down conversions, they were 6 of 8. That's pretty good at third downs. They didn't have many third downs when you only have a total of 8. When you look at it here, that Tennessee Tech, they were 4 of 17. So 6 of 8 on offense, 4 of 17 on defense. You're winning on both sides there, right? Then you have blocked field goal for a score. And you have some really good special teams. See, that is just it. The whole thing is so different of me breaking down a Kansas film, because you got offensive players and talent of these players, but they could actually hurt teams. Beat Texas last year. I say, yeah, that's no big deal. It is a big deal. Anytime you beat Texas, it's a big deal. But when you look at that and this offense, I'm going to show you some breakdown here of these clips. I want you to check out that offensive line. I want you to watch this running back by committee. I want you to watch Jalen Daniels when he does that play action, because he suckers everybody. It's a snicker. Play action pass. He's going to snooker their opponents up. That's what they're trying to do, because Lance Leipold knows that's what he wants to do, and that's how they can go ahead and do certain things. Watch. It'll be trick plays. They have to. When you are an inferior team, you're going to have to do a trick play every now and then, because you need something to even out the odds. Here you go. Let's watch this first offensive series. The junior, 6 foot, 215 pounds. It is running back by committee with 3 running backs that are tough as nails. A big offensive line, seniors, juniors, 6'5", 6'6", 320, some big tight ends, and some decent receivers. They want to run the ball. Last week, as I said, 297 yards. Watch this. Devin Neal, 4 rushes, 108 yards, man. 2 TDs, longest of 80 yards. You see him, he jump cuts, he runs through the tackles, and then he explodes into the end zone. They're all excited there in Kansas. They haven't seen much of this lately. Look at that, pretty darn good. How about this? You want to see an 80-yarder? He sees the defender to his left, he moves to his right, patience, vision, and then he puts on the speed. Devin Neal, 4 rushes, 108 yards. Solid day against Tennessee Tech. Now, I talked about Devin Neal, and I mentioned Sevion Morrison, who had 8 rushes himself for 70 yards and a touchdown, 9 yards to carry. But this is a guy I really like here, Daniel Heishall, because he likes to Heishall and hit dudes. You're going to see 12 personnel here, 2 tight ends, 1 back, 2 receivers. They're going to make a big block. Offensive line, once again, making an impact in the red zone on this Tennessee Tech defense. See the snap, the handoff. He's got nobody touch him. He runs through the tackle block, and then he hits the guy 3 yards in the end zone. There you go. Watch it again. Right through that tackle, no problem. Oh, he seeks. He's a hitter, man. You don't believe me? Watch this. Hand off to the left. The offensive line blocking once again. He runs through the tackle, the leg, and, well, he doesn't hit him. He doesn't run out of bounds. He Heishalls him and trucks him. Now, we talked about the running back by committee, but how about this? Jalen Daniels in the red zone here, going to take the quarterback draw. He's going to make a guy miss in the open field. Open field missed tackles, right? We've heard that one before. So the Mountaineers better be ready, because Jalen Daniels is a pretty darn good athlete. Watch him here as he goes back. He sees it, the Red Sea opens, and then he makes the defender miss and runs to the tackle. That's an athlete. That's a guy that likes to score touchdowns. As you can see here again, replay, slow motion. You can make the juke, make the move. And let's watch here. Now, he's going to send this guy here for play action. It's a triple option, and he decides to keep it. He's a danger. He's a threat. Jalen Daniels, threat. 7 personnel, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers, and a running back. We talked about the running
by committee, and also Jalen Daniels is a threat. But what about Jalen Daniels going through the air? Well, it's going to be play action pass, and they're going to sucker everybody up, and they're going to send this guy here, Quentin Skinner, all 6'5", the redshirt sophomore. Oh, he's got to go deep, and he's going to look going. You see the fake handoff. He rolls to his left, throws cross body, right in stride, 6'5". Wow, that's going to be scary. Any Mountaineer defender needs to look at this, especially that secondary. Keep up with that. That's some speed, athleticism. He just looks good running. What's the Mountaineers to do? You got a threat here, triple option threat. You have the running back by committee. You got Jalen Daniels in the run. And then you have, of course, the passing game. So the Mountaineers, they're going to have to go ahead and put Jalen Daniels in tough situations, tough decisions, because when he gets in them, he can make mistakes, as you'll see here. He's going to get the ball. Should not be making that pitch in the air. That's a bad decision. He will make bad decisions. The Mountaineers have to put him in that position and make him screw up. Here you got the pass. He's going to fake it, and he's going to throw it. That's a pick. There are 3 white helmets to 1 blue helmet down there. 3 white jerseys. I'm not sure what he's looking at, but again, secondary, they need to disguise. Look at that, 3-1. Wow, that's a bad decision. The Mountaineers need more of that Saturday night. Okay, well, that's the offense. You can see that Jalen Daniels does make mistakes if you put stress on him, make him feel stress. You will see that that is completely doable. And again, you got to make them believe they're coming into Morgantown. They're coming into Motown. Wild crowd. You know, it's a gold rush. It looks beautiful. It looks intimidating. And I think that it's going to be tough for that offense to overcome that defense. That defense comes ready to play like they did a week ago, a little bit more than a week. So moving on to the defense allowing only 190 yards defensively. They had a turnover. They had a nice interception. They had blocked a field goal, scored points off of it. They really have done a lot of things. And I think it's a lot of there's some new blood in there, the transfer portal. I think that's really has a good effect for the Jayhawks. I've seen some guys on here. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to break it down a little bit. But you better look for these guys because this team, last year, I want to just point this out. Kenny Logan, 113 tackles. And, he was making tackles 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards downfield. He didn't have much help there with the Kansas Jayhawks, but they got help now. And they got older players. And these guys, they're used to winning. They're coming from programs that win. I don't care if it's lower programs or not. They're used to winning. And that is what's key about it. So let's take a look at this Jayhawk defense. This new improved. They're a 4-man front. Whether they have stand-ups, they'll go heavy, they'll go nickel, they'll go dime. They're just like anyone else, but they're big guys up front, and they're tough in the box. They're not the greatest of all players, but they're really tough. And tough players can really hurt you when you're not prepared. Let's take a look at the defense after this message from the Tap House.
Hi, I'm Casey Legg, and I'm from Charleston, West Virginia. And when I'm back home in Charleston, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that Golden Boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Where do the true gold and blue faithful go for the best in beer, burgers, pizza, wings, and more? It's the Mountaineer Tap House on the Evansdale campus. Mountaineer Tap House features well over 40 craft beers on tap, plus the best appetizers, salads, burgers, wings, pizza, and tacos the University City has to offer. Enjoy their exclusive craft cocktails too. Dine on the balcony or chill out inside with walls and walls of TVs. Follow Mountaineer Tap House on social media. Mountaineer Tap House, second floor above the Parmar store on the Evansdale campus.
Respect this Jayhawk defense, only giving up 190 yards last week against Tech. And it's guys like this, transfers, new bloods into the program. Not guys that are used to having success, not the old lineage of the Kansas Blues, right? This is Lonnie Phelps. Last year, he had 30 tackles, 13.5 TFLs, and 9.5 sacks. Well, last week, he was first of the team in total tackles, and he had 3 sacks. He's continued success. All MAC last season. This guy wants to be successful. He doesn't care about the pass from the Jayhawks. You see him make a pressure right through the tackle. Tackle's on his back. It doesn't matter. He still gets the sack. Gonna come. You see him? He's going to affect it right there. Get to the quarterback. Hang on. Affecting plays, man. That's what this Kansas Jayhawk defense is about new blood. New blood. Eric Gilliard, Central Florida, 38 total games. This senior had 199 tackles and 13.5 TFLs. He's used to winning. He doesn't know about this Kansas blood, Kansas lineage. He wants success, and here you're going to see him with the interception. Ball's going to be thrown. He steps up, 230 pounds, makes the pick, and Big Man is running. Big Man's excited about the Kansas Jayhawks. And it's not all about transfers and new blood into Kansas. You have Kenny Logan Jr. from last year, had 113 tackles as a safety, all 6 foot, 210 pounds, and he's a big contributor on special teams. But this cat has 3 varsity letters. He's used to competing in Power 5. And I'm telling you now, you got to watch him as he does this kick return. He's a danger. Kenny Logan Jr., number 1. Now, he was making tackles 5, 6, 7, and 8 yards down the field last year, but he is a tough competitor. And I'm going to tell you this. When you see this, a blocked field goal. Special teams are important to a team like the Jayhawks. They didn't ever care before. Why would they care? They weren't good on offense. They weren't good on defense. Why would they care about special teams? Because now they do. It's Lance Leopold. He is changing this program. This Jayhawk team is different. They're getting better, and they are on the rise. Step up, step up, step up. The Mountaineers, it doesn't matter Saturday night. It doesn't matter Gold Rush. What matters is what the Mountaineers do, how they prepared, and how they're ready to play. Because this Jayhawk team believes in themselves. And if the Mountaineers keep them in the game, they will just keep believing, and that's not good for any Mountaineer or Mountaineer fan. Not good for any Mountaineer. Not good for any brother. Not good for Mountaineer Nation. Because this game really, all intents and purposes, is about one thing. It's about the Mountaineers. The Mountaineers are going to come out and play on offense. They're going to come out and play on defense. They're going to come out and play on special teams, just like they did against Pittsburgh, but eliminating those crucial mistakes. Eliminating them. Are they going to squash the Kansas Jayhawks? Are they going to, in front of their home crowd, the Big 12 opening game of the year, the home game of the year, are they going to go ahead and squash them and send them back to Lawrence, Kansas with their tail between their legs? Because they can, because they're better. And it should be about what the Mountaineers do and not about what the Kansas Jayhawks do. You can't say that about every team that they play. You can still say that about this Kansas Jayhawk team. They're better. They're better. They're not there yet. Our Mountaineers are better. Talent-wise, they got a big chip on their shoulder. They should have a big chip on their shoulder, not just because of Pittsburgh game. Last bowl game, Minnesota. I didn't feel real good about that game. I know they don't either.
So they got 2 games. They got a chip on their shoulder. In fact, the last time they won a game was against Kansas. So let's go out today and win. Now, this Wolfman's call, this breakdown of the Kansas Jayhawks is part of the Mountaineer Legends pregame. And that, Mountaineer Nation, concludes the first Wolfman's call for the Kansas Jayhawks breakdown for Mountaineer Legends pregame. Coming up here really soon, Owen Schmitt, Aaron Beasley, Brian Joswiak, Major Harris in the house. I'll be breaking it down with them. It's going to be really cool. And don't forget about my brothers and the Three Wolves of Football. Coming out this week podcast, Craig Wolfley, color analyst for the Pittsburgh Steelers Radio Network. Ron Wolfley, color analyst for the Arizona Cardinals Radio Network. And you got yours truly, the Soda Pop, host of the Wolfman's Call and Mountaineer Legends pregame. Yeah, that's right. Hey, huge thanks to Parmar Stores. Parmar, if there's not one near you now, watch out, because there will be one soon. 5 states. 5 states. 5. Opened 4 in Maryland just last week. And, of course, the Tap House in Morgantown. Fine spirits, fine food, all kinds of TVs. Watch your games when your team's not at home. Watch them when they're away. And my guys here at Artisan Grange Company. Switch to hemp, just the dip. Do it the AGC way. Artisan Grange Company hemp. Knock the nicotine out. Knock that tobacco out. Get healthy, man. AGC. Boom!
Hi, my name's James Schmitt, and I'm from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. And when I'm back home in the Pittsburgh area, you can find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that gold and blue pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.